chew tobacco, spit. Howdy. Today, welcome to the WINGIT call. It's April 11th, 2016. Darn it, here we are again. But the option is wait, or wait. Pastor, take it away.
Father, in Jesus' name, we just pray for wisdom and peace and your blessing on this call today. I ask you to empower each person that hears to understand systematically what you're doing in their life, in their spirit, in their soul, in their body, and particularly with this venture. I thank you for it now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. *2 to raise your hand. That is *2 to raise your hand. And let's see. Today, little house cleaning. And I know this irritates people, but got to give Kenny his 5 minutes of fame. Kenny, I put a little post in my forum just for you. If you're so adamant about expressing your viewpoints and feelings and why this is a scam, why, Kenny, don't you start up your own conference call like this? And you can even get the guru package since you're a guru killer. Put that on my website so you and all your underlings can all have a powwow together and express to us, or whoever wants to listen, what you have to say. Simply that. And that way you'll reach more people. You won't even have to go to their forums, but bless your heart, that's just how a narcissist is. So there it is in a nutshell. Your own conference call, your own following, and an audience, and even a recording so that if they missed it, they can go back and hear you again, since I'm sure your voice is as beautiful as an angel. Hold on a minute, got to check a text. Oh, okay. Hope my phone sounds better today. I spent 2 hours at the AT&T store getting the darn thing reflashed, and you know what happens when that happens. Everything in your phone goes to crap. The intel for the day, well, I didn't listen to Ray, but we've heard that CNN made some kind of announcement, well, I guess last night. I didn't hear it, didn't see it, haven't got confirmation that the Iraqi dinar is or has revalued. Don't know, haven't got confirmation about that. Have heard a lot of other things, but today's call is going to be about getting prepared post-RV. So if this is something you don't want to hear or listen to, you know what to do. And Rockstar, are you there?
I am here.
Today, it's all about that. Would you like to kick it off, or you want me to start off with it?
Well, I'll start and then I'll run out of steam. You can take over.
And then I'll pick it up from there. It works well.
Exactly. There's I guess there's two general things on the agenda for security. One is the security around your exchange, and then the second one is the security for the rest of your life, which is the big one. But the exchange, Daz put out on the TNT chat site years ago a really good step-by-step security plan for your exchange. And I think some of the things have changed since then, but the basic structure is pretty good. The idea is you don't want, especially for those of us who are going to exchange centers, you don't want to show up in a car that has your license plate on it because anybody within 500 meters can read your license plate and figure out where you live. So you want to rent a car, you want to take a taxi. Some of us connected rednecks will be taking limousines. But the bottom line is you don't want to identify yourself. You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. You don't want to go in your neighbor's car or your best friend's car because then their license plate is going to get taken down and they're going to have trouble. So you really want to try to be anonymous about it. It's going to be easier at night, but the basic rules apply. Don't go in anything that gives away your address. And when you leave, make sure you're not followed. Well, one of Dad's recommendations, which may or may not be extreme, I guess it depends on where you live. Book a room in the hotel, have the cab or you park your rental car there in the hotel, spend the night in the hotel, and the next morning have a cab or some other anonymous vehicle pick you up and call the rental car people and phone their cars at the local Holiday Inn. Or do the same thing with a shopping mall. If it's during the middle of the day, go park in their underground garage with your rental car or have the cab drop you off there, do a little shopping. You're going to have the money. And then call somebody else to pick you up. Make sure you're not followed. It's real simple. If you look behind you 3 different times and you see the same car, you're being followed. So the best thing to do there is just drive to the nearest police station. They'll take care of the problem. But it's just a simple matter of using your head and always being aware of your surroundings. Some of us who have been in big cities all our lives, that's one of the things you always do. You're always aware of your surroundings. If you're walking into a parking lot and it's 10 o'clock at night, you're looking around to see who else is there. You got your keys handy. This is all basic stuff. But you should be able to. You probably know somebody who's on the TNT site, and you can look that stuff up in general information. I forget what the category was, but it's real good stuff. It's a good thing to read. The other thing that drives me crazy is everybody wants to walk out of the bank with $7,500 cash. Now, I know if you've never carried a wad of cash like that, it's probably, you're kind of curious as to what it's like. But again, if you've grown up in a metropolitan area, you never carry that much cash. You carry $100 and that's it. The rest is on your debit card. And if you really, really need to walk out with a wad of cash, you're just upping the possibilities of basically getting mugged. I certainly don't recommend it. You're going to have a debit card that's going to allow you to have as much cash as you want. And sometimes folks don't realize this, but if you call your personal banker, which you will also have when you leave that exchange, and you tell him or her that you're going to the mall and you're going to buy a $5,000 watch and you're going to spend a couple grand on shoes and accessories, they'll mark your account and you'll be able to spend that. And if you want to go to an ATM and pull out $1,000 worth of cash, they'll mark your card for that too. It's all electronic. It's all easy as pie. But being wealthy is not carrying cash. You don't want to expose yourself if you don't have to. So why don't I stop there, Jaron? You can add more to that, and then maybe we can talk about the longer term stuff.
Art, would you like? Yeah, Art, would you like to throw anything in there before we?
Go ahead, Echo.
Hey, Art.
Can you hear my printer? My printer don't work. It makes a lot of racket when it's printing. I don't know why. It prints fine, but it no longer is silent. It sounds like a machine gun, and it's on the last page. So Hold on just a second. It'll be done. I think it is. Well, I got one more page.
It sounds like a cash register.
Yeah, doesn't it sound? It's just like a machine gun there when it starts going. There's something wrong with it, but it prints fine, so I'm not worried about it. But if you're on the other end of a telephone, it's not too swift. Anyway, so you're giving some good advice on people walking into a bank and how to do it. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I can't add anything to that. That's for sure. I don't know. We're just waiting for our notifications. That's really all we're waiting for, from what I've been informed, and which should be any time. And so we have a reason to apply what ICO just stated. That's about all I know, really. I mean, everything is just kind of quiet. Everything's gone pretty quiet, and it's probably on your end too, right, ICO? It's gone kind of quiet as far as getting information.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm getting nothing. So
yeah, just real quiet. They've asked everybody to kind of be quiet, so that's what it is. It's quiet, and everybody should appreciate that.
Well, if that's it, Art, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you on your end. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. All right, thanks.
All right. So all that I can add to that is the Chinese have said that April 19th is the day that they're going to come out asset backed. So that's a week from tomorrow. Is it out in public, ICO, about the change in the structured payouts and all that? I don't know if we can talk about that or not.
I don't see why not, as long as we don't mention names.
Okay, so here's the latest that we've heard on structured payouts age-wise. And we've heard that the last we heard was a 2 to 100 year payout. Now this is the latest that we're hearing, that if you're 59 and going to turn 60 this year, then it's only going to be like a 2-year payout on the Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and it should be noted that this is for people who are grossing more than $500 million at their exchange.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're under 60, we've heard that it's a 5-year payout. Now, that being said, here's where your flexibility and quick thinking or wing it on your feet is something to think about. So the bank wants to give you a 5-year payout at X amount of interest. And also at that 5-year payout, and it could be a little longer, but bear with me. I'm talking slow because if people are taking notes, you know, I'm not rambling like a New Yorker. And we all know how Gizmo talks really fast. Oh, I didn't go there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. So here it is. If you're under 60 and it's a 5-year payout, and you only have access to 5% of your money, and you're over the $500 million gross limit where you get into the structured payout, here's something to think about. You got to have your money in a bank somewhere, and Wells Fargo at this point seems to be a bank that you can trust and do business with because they're the lead bank in all of this. Bank of America was, then they couldn't handle it, so we're told, and it was pushed over to Wells Fargo, and they took over. So here's the catch. Say, okay, Mr. Wealth Manager, and I don't know if you can even do it at the exchange or not. It might have to be at your second appointment. We don't know the whole thing yet. We're not being told. We won't know till we get there. This is just our opinion, my opinion. So you get there and you say, okay, I've got over $500 million. What if, Mr. Banker, Mr. Exchanger, I'd like to leave my money in your bank with interest, and I'll take a 10-year payout. But I want a little bit higher interest rate, and I'd like a little more on the bottom end rather than 5%. Maybe I want 7, 10, or even 15% access to the total amount after you exchange. And that's the trade-off when you go to the bank, negotiations. If I'm willing to go with you for 10 years and a 10-year payout, because now you're assured of money to your bottom line for X amount of time, they should be able to work with you. Just something to think about. A no never beats a try. They can't tell you no unless you don't try. What else? I'm missing something here. Help me out, Iko. Of course, he might be tied up for just a little bit. Pastor,
hey, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
The plumber just showed up, so I'll be out for 5 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Now I got to wing it on my own.
You got to wing it on your own.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Star 2 to raise your hand, please. Star 2 to raise your hand. Oh, darn it. Let me unmute you. Pastor? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Help me out there.
Yes.
Did I miss anything on that?
Not that I know of, and I don't really know too much except the Bible, so it's pretty terrible. You're asking the wrong guy.
Oh,
I don't think you did, though. I don't think you did, to be honest with you. I think you covered it very, very well, and that information was out on Dinar Chronicles. If anybody wants to go look at it, that's where I read it. I do know that, and it explains it probably not as good as you explained it, but it is there. It's been there for a few days. It's also on the WINGIT website. It's also on probably most other websites, so go take a look at it, and if you need it already in print, you can get that. Actually, you can get it right on your website, can't you, Jerry?
Yes, and let me get a clarification. On the 19th, China will start pricing or denominating gold in yuan, not that there will be a currency, not that their currency will be gold-backed. That's the big difference. Let me say that again. That was my fault. Some banks in China will start pricing or denominating gold in yuan, but their currency won't be gold-backed. Maybe they're going to wait till the 22nd to do that. Who knows? So that was a misinterpretation on my part. But something to think about. In the meantime, like Iko said, heck, I'm gonna find some place or go someplace to have a limousine pick me up if you're in a metropolitan area that offers that service. A bigger one. Taxi's a good one. Not friends and family. No. Besides, if you're trying to remain low-keyed, post RV, if you're, who is it that was real flashy? I'm drawing a blank. But if you're going out there and you're going to go to strip bars and throw $100 bills at the dancers or dollar bills or whatever it is, and you're going to act like a fool, you're going to get noticed. Things like that get noticed. Be low-keyed. Move to another area where people don't know you. What difference does it make? You'll have the time and the money to drive and go see your friends, if they're still your friends afterwards. That's the key thing. Money, death brings out the ugliness in people, and so it does when you have means that they don't have. So why not move out of the area, 50, 60, 75 miles away? Whoopee-doo. Because when you get there, John Boy's doing well. Look at him. Bought him a new place. They don't know where you came from. Uh-oh. Somebody's unmuted. Let's see. Pastor, I think that's you. Can you mute on your end? So let us go up here and take a caller. And in between callers, we'll try to add some more to this. Port St. Lucie, Florida, 772. Come on down. Hello?
Yeah, dear, I'm back.
Okay.
Is that me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Hello?
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Good,
hello?
good. How are you doing? Hey, Iko,
Yeah,
mute on your end.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good.
Just your
thank
phone.
you.
All you got to do is just mute your phone. You don't have to star 6 or anything. Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, just again to say hi and there was this rumor during the weekend about dinar about that they had dropped the charges in KY Rhyme, but I don't know if it was a rumor that was true or that wasn't true at all.
You're going to have to say that again.
You know
Your
what I'm
Spanish is
talking about?
awful. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Somebody posted, I think in our diary or something like that, posted in your website that certain currencies charges have been dropped because there was going to be a revaluation today. I just want to know if it was just a rumor that's true or that's not true at all.
Well, we don't know yet. It's rumor till it happens, okay?
Oh, okay.
On the currency. Yeah, I mean, it's only, we can't prove it otherwise, so it's a rumor.
Okay. Yeah, because then I think they took it out of the website or something like that.
I don't know.
But then it's a rumor only, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Did you hear about it?
No, I've been out of pocket most of the morning taking care of my phone.
Okay. Well, hopefully we will see this week.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Bye. God bless you.
Let's see. Houston, Texas, 832. Come on down. Can you hear me now? John? Houston. John in Houston, 832. Come on down. You get the hand raised. Well, it says, John. Anyway, actually, you go ahead. Hello? Last 4 of your telephone number is 2214. Come on down. Okay. I'll be glad when I can get me a new computer and it's not so slow. Hutchins, Kansas, 620. Come on down. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you
That sound okay?
take me off a speaker?
Okay, hold on.
Okay, good enough now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. Hey, I've got to, that sounded good, letting the bank take care of it and all that, like you said. But when you do that, you can still put it in an irrevocable trust. Is that right? And let them control it?
No, you don't want to let, if you do that, control it yourself, but you still have that option.
Okay, you can put it in an irrevocable trust and then control it yourself, but yet it'll be where they can go ahead and invest out of it. Is that right?
I can't answer that because I'm not a banker. All I can say is
well,
you need to get it into a vehicle to protect you and your
Right.
assets. And that's why
Okay.
I've talked about the Master's Trust. They've got their
Exactly.
website. You can read all about it. That way everything is above board. We're having to play with the IRS guidelines and rules for right now, and until there's a change, we got to play by their rules. And if you go to their
But
go ahead.
either way, they can go ahead and they can insure it. You know, if you let them go ahead on this 10-year deal or 5-year deal, is that right? I mean, insure your assets.
That is a question to ask them. I don't know for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, one other little issue. You know, I can dress nice and well-groomed and all that, but I'm still going to sound like a Southern hick, you know. And
well,
that's kind of like, well, you know, what are we dealing with here? So, but I guess a lot of other people do too.
Hey, I'm no different. The only reason that I'm going to look respectable is because my wife insists that I wear more than flip-flops and hoochie shorts, darn it.
Well, there you go. All right. Just put on a necktie and go then.
You don't even have to do that. Well, in Texas, if you've got starched jeans, you know, a nice starched shirt, nice blazer, that's all that's needed. And boots. That's not acceptable in New York City, but that's because they just don't know any better. I can't help that.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Springfield, Ohio. 937. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. The question I have, and maybe ICO could help. When I first got in this a little over 2 years ago, I went halves with a buddy of mine that was a truck driver. And basically, in this last 2 years, all he's done is drive his little rear end off and repair his truck. So I'm trying to figure out his half. Let's just say his half was $2 million. Should I subtract taxes from that? And can I have the bank just send the money right from there into his account? Or is there another way I have to do it?
That is a question that I can't even answer because any interpretation would get my butt in hot water.
Okay.
And I believe you know that too. That's financial or some type of.
I'm just trying to.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll be able to.
It'd be like if I was giving it to my.
You'll be able to ask an accountant what the best thing to do is. I mean, the currency is in your name, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. You got time to sort that out.
Okay.
You know, you're gonna have to get with an accountant sooner or later, and emphasis on the sooner. But that's just going to be one of the questions. That'll be one of the things he's got to solve for you.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
I appreciate it. It's going to make him very happy because he can get off the road.
Yeah.
I just saw a tweet on Twitter that says, "Are you recording?" Yes, ma'am, I am. I hit that recording button before red stopped. Nick. Yes, ma'am, I am recording.
Well, I thought she always did that before you had your first blue.
Well, today, since I'm such an alcoholic and I'm setting a bad example for my son, drinking on the call and I'm drunk all the time, I decided to pop the top on a Gatorade.
Whoa.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Going healthy on us.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
It's funny,
but,
they just talked about a 102-year-old lady down in Kentucky who chewed tobacco and drank her whiskey every single day of her adult life. She's 102.
Everything in moderation, and I'm sure she moderated, so.
Don't give him any help.
Yeah. All right, guys.
See,
Thank you very much.
there is research done out there, Pastor, to let you know that a little drinking never hurt anybody. Thank you, sir. *2 to raise your hand. And actually clean the screen on my laptop and I can see things. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we're going to go to Houston, Texas, 832. We'll try you one more time. Can you hear me now? Houston. Hello. Okay. And I'll put his hand down for him. Here we go. On the web. Water, come on down.
Oh, hi, Jerry. Thank you for taking my call. I saw on the Denari recap that there's a possibility that we're going to be taxed for exchange. It's going to be, they said it was a extended tax or something like that. I thought this was a non-tax event. Do you know anything about that?
We won't know till we get there. Turn your speaker down in the background.
All right. Is that better?
Testing 1, 2, 3. A little bit more.
Oh, all right.
As a matter of fact, just turn it off.
On my computer, if I turn off the speaker, then I can't hear you. I'm on my computer.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well.
Okay, and also, so I guess you just have to wait to see. Also, if I'm hearing you correctly, you said if we get the 5-year payment, structured payment, we're only going to get 5%.
They're talking. Hold on. Let me mute you, and then I'll tell you. They're talking at least, if you're under 60, at least a minimum of a 5-year payout if you are over the $500 million gross exchange. Okay, so if you're over that, it's going to be a minimum 5 years if you're under 60. Or if you're turning 50, if you're 59 this year and turning 60, then it's a 18-month or 2-year payout because they want the money back in the economy. So if you're going to have more than that, then it's to think about, well, can I let the bank hold it a little bit longer? Maybe they'll give me a little bit better interest rate, and because you're giving them an extra 5 years, will they give you an extra, 5 to 7 to 8 extra percentage points above 5% of your total deposit available to you? So I've probably got people confused. If they're only giving 5% of your total deposit on a 5-year payout, if you go to 10 years, then you can negotiate, can I have, 7, 10, or 15% available to me because I'm leaving it for an extra 5 years for a few extra interest points. Does that make sense? And I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah, so you'll get 5% of your deposit, so per year?
I don't know.
Oh, because I calculated it, and if you get, what I thought was if you get for 5 years, say for example you have $1 billion, you divide into five, that's $200 million. But if you only get 5% of a billion, it's only $50 million. And for 5 years, you'll still have more money left in the bank. So just kind of curious.
We won't know.
Jared, can I pipe in here?
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, I heard it was 15% up front. Did you hear something different than that? I heard that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Well, you didn't impart that wisdom to me, Rockstar. Thank you.
I see. Okay. So
the last I heard it was 5 to 7.
Oh, okay. Well, and of course, everybody, we all know this is all conjecture until we're sitting there in that little room. But I think that the simplest, let's use 10% because it's easy to divide things. If you gross $1 billion and they give you 10% up front, okay, so that's 100 million. So now you got 900 million left to distribute over 5 years, which I just realized made the math difficult. But anyway, they're going to give you that principal plus interest. And I believe you can actually ask for the interest either monthly or quarterly or for the year. It's going to be a different deal for each one. But you do get your principal plus your interest. In simple terms, every year you're going to get principal plus interest. And I've also, I think this is safe to say, I've heard interest rates. Last time somebody told me about this, it was a 7.25% interest rate, which is a great interest rate to boot. And if you do leave it in longer, like Jerry's saying, you can negotiate a better interest rate. And of course, it all boils down. I don't know if everybody's done this, but it really helps if you just, it could even be in a loose leaf binder. Just jot down everything you want to do with your money and how much money you want to put toward that. Like, your new house, your charitable giving, all of that. Write it all down, and I think you might be surprised as to how much money you really need a year and how much money you're going to have left out there to figure out how to spend. That certainly happened for me, and as my mother said, I have champagne taste. And I was shocked at how, against what I'm going to gross, what I really need to spend, and then the rest is just going to sit there gathering income. So my charitable requirements or projects went way up, more than I had ever planned. To where I'm now looking for things to help with. I ran out of ideas. But they'll explain it to you. They'll have it all laid out. I mean, they're not going to sit there and expect you to remember all this at this exchange meeting. They're going to have things prepared, from what I understand. It'll all be spelled out. They're totally trained on it. And remember, guys, they want you to be happy when you leave, because the longer your money stays with their bank, the better positioned they are for the new economy. It's going to, when the world finally goes asset backed, it's going to be all about how much real money they have in their bank. So they want that real money of yours to stay in their bank. They're not going to be able to pull the fiat nonsense with it anymore. They're not going to be able to do fractional banking anymore. So that cash is going to be king once again. It'll be an interesting world where cash is king instead of funny money.
I went ahead and muted her, and thank you, ma'am. It was a real good question. I hope we answered it for you. So if it's 15%, I'll be happy. Just think about that. If it's even 10% on $1 billion, that's $100 million. So you've got $4 or $5 billion at your disposal. That's $500 million that you have available to you.
Yes. And there's something else too that I'm sorry to interrupt, Rick. Jerry, excuse me. Everybody's forgetting that even the structured payout is a huge asset that you can again negotiate with the bank. Let's say you're getting 7.25% and you need $100 million for some project you want to get up. You can say, listen, I need an extra $100 million. I'm willing to pay you, a point and a half interest. So yeah, you can resent it and say I'm borrowing my own money. That's one way to look at it. Or you can look at it like you own a big building and you're borrowing, you're putting a second mortgage down on your big building. There's going to be all kinds still. There's going to be accounting, I don't want to call them tricks, methods and maneuvers with this vast wealth that you're going to be able to take advantage of. And you're still going to be a very special person that way. So try not to get hung up on, how should I put it? We're all coming at this with a high school mathematics education. Maybe we got as far as Algebra 2. I don't know. I mean, that's dating me, but that's where most of us are coming at this. We're not coming at it with the experience of being multimillionaires and multi-billionaires and understanding what's called the law of large numbers, which is a fascinating phenomenon that takes place when you're talking about this much money. Everything changes. How you manage it changes. This is why I'm always kicking everybody and saying you got to educate yourself. This much money is a different world, and you're going to be able to put this money to work for you in ways you never imagined. So yeah, 15% of $1 billion is actually $150 million. I don't know about you, but I sure can figure out what to do with $150 million. And that's another reason they want the payout, is because they want you to learn how to deal with the law of large numbers and other concepts that are completely foreign to the average American.
Call it the structured payout. Call it a safety valve, because if you had all that available to you and you've never dealt with, and I'm using myself for example, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and all of a sudden you're worth a lot more, you're going to be like a kid in a candy store with the lotto scenario. You could be even with millions and billions of dollars, you could be broke in no time.
Yep, no smooth talking Savannah lawyer is going to be able to sell you 80,000 acres of swampland in Central Florida either, because you won't have the money.
They'll be selling you 4 square acres in downtown Manhattan and thinking you got the best deal ever. So you watch out for the shysters. Get good qualified. You get what you pay for. So if you're worth, I hate this, but it's a reality. So work with me here, Iko. So you exchange and you end up that you have 50 million or less. You're not going to be in a structured payout.
Nope.
Or even we'll just use 100 million or less. So, and if there's taxes, and you got to end up paying, $30 million in taxes, what's that leave you with? 70. Now cut that in half again, because you're going to put half of that into something, bringing in you a monthly stipend, interest, whatever it is through the bank. Now you're down to 35 million. Let's say you want to go out and buy a home. So you want to plunk down $1.5–2 million. Not a problem. And then toys and everything that goes with it. Now you're down to what, 29 million? Now you've got taxes on the property, and you want to start playing. And wait a minute, maybe I need to put a little bit more in there, because that first 30 or 25 million you put in there isn't bringing enough, and you want to leave some for your kids. $100 million, when you really think about it, and we're throwing numbers around like chicken feathers here and chicken feathers there, but it's reality. And this can also happen to somebody that's got $1 billion. I want this forgive me, Lord, when I say this. I want me a yacht, a couple yachts here and there, or I want me an airplane. Those are not cheap items. Those are considered luxury items, but your trust can own them and pay for it, but you've got to look at, well, it only costs $20 million for the jet. The upkeep, that's the big thing. It's easy to buy a car, but now you got to build a garage to put it in. You got to have the insurance. It's all the accessories that go with an item that start eating you up. Property taxes, depending on where you're going to live at. So I'm rambling. Help me out, Iko. Tell me to shut up. Uh-oh. He must be with his plumber.
I was, but I'm back. So, you know what I'm a little sensitive to, Jared, is I still have no idea of who we're talking to half the time. You know, we sit here and we talk about jets and we talk about this and we talk about that, and maybe the majority of people on this call are folks with, you know, I don't know, 500,000, maybe $1 million in total assets, or maybe 5 million, but not 50 or 100. The same rules apply, but I guess they're slightly different.
No matter what, the bottom line is on your total at the end, whether it's 5 million, same thing applies. No matter what your total is.
Yeah, you got to put aside money to pay your taxes. You never want to spend. You only want to spend what your principal earns you. And to expand on that, you only want to spend what your principal earns you, and you want to give back to the principal a point and a half, because you want the principal to grow. So if you're getting 10, just as a simple math, if you're getting 10% on $1 million, so you're making 100,000 a year, you don't want to spend that whole 100. You want to spend like maybe 75, 80 of it. You want to always grow your principal, and then live off the balance. And that way, your money will last you forever. It'll go to your kids. It'll go to your church. It'll go to wherever you want it to go. You never want to spend more than your principal, and preferably you don't want to spend all of your interest income either. You want to take most of it and do what you want to do with it, but you always want to put more money back into the principal account so that your estate keeps growing. And it may not seem like a lot the first couple of years, but man, compound interest is a beautiful thing. And compound interest is still going to be around when we're asset backed. So you got to think along those lines. I mean, that's what I just wanted to put that out there. That the idea is the same. It's just some people are going to have more zeros. Some people aren't. That's it.
Well, our next caller is Grants Pass, Oregon, 541. Come on down.
Hello, Jerry. Can you hear me?
All day long.
Hello, Jerry. I like Robert Kiyosaki's definition of wealth, having enough passive or portfolio income to cover your monthly expenses. So if your expenses is $10,000 and you buy an apartment complex that gives you $20,000, you're wealthy.
Right.
And again, with this interest in stuff, we've had to learn a lot. Tony Robbins also put out that they're going to have some new things out there to make sure that you don't spend your principal. So I've been reading one of his books on money.
Very good. Man's got some good, solid footing to go with.
So I just wanted to encourage people on them 2 points.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
No, I missed the beginning of the call. I'll see the main information on the replay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next, we're going to go to, come on screen, Pompano Beach, Florida, 954. Come on down. Hello, 954. Pompano Beach, Florida.
Hi, Jerry. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too shabby for an old guy. Listen, you left on out with us old peeps on this funds that they want to dole us out on. What happens to us old peeps? Is there anything that they're going to hold back if we're over 65?
Are you talking about taxes?
No, I'm talking about the
Okay, let me rephrase this. I'll say it again. We've heard on the Zim they're going to have structured payouts. If you're over 60, they want it. They're probably going to do an 18-month to a 2-year payout. So that helps you have more access to it and to get it into a legacy and to you to help do whatever you want in the community. They want cash to get back out into the world. We're so starved for liquidity right now, it's ridiculous. And humanity, we're tired of being wage slaves, and they want this. If you've got money to spend, you're going to hire a gardener, pay him a good, and that's another thing. If you got money, yes, it pays to be frugal, but don't be so frugal that you're pinching pennies and you're killing your help. If your help or your gardener or whoever, if you pay them a good fair wage plus 10% and a thank you every now and then, and not everybody will appreciate it, but I bet you they'll be happy and you'll get a better manicure for your lawn. They'll be out there with tweezers making sure everything is the same height. Go ahead.
No, I was
Sir?
just, on this payout, I was just thought maybe that after you reach a certain age that there wasn't going to be any structured payout because how much time you got left,
There's going to be a structured payout because even if you're 70 and all of a sudden you go from a fixed income to you got 50, 100, millions of dollars, they still want you time to adjust to the wealth. This includes billionaires who've already had money to go from billions to, almost trillions. They're going to need time to adjust to this too. It's an adjustment period.
Yeah, and Jerry, another thing is it's an adjustment period for everybody. That's something else that I think it doesn't get talked enough about, is that the entire world is adjusting. So what they've done is they've actually built you in a buffer so that you've got to wait and see what the rest of the world is doing before you start distributing all this money. It's going to help everybody. It's going to keep people from making uninformed investments. It's also going to help the planet distribute this wealth in a manageable way. I mean, what good is giving a mission or something $50 million if they can't do anything with it? Because the countries they want to do their work in aren't prepared to handle it. This is one of the things that Bill Gates made really clear years ago. He said the hardest part about giving away money is not writing a check. It's making sure that it actually is working on the other end. You can't just dump a bunch of food in a poor area and expect everybody to eat. There's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it. So this is a safety valve. These payout periods, and 2 years. I mean, any business I've ever developed, 2 years was nothing. And I know when we're older, I get it. If because I'm feeling it too. I'm 62 and I'm starting to feel how much time have I got pinch when I start thinking about things. And I know if you're in your 70s, it's a lot worse, or a lot lot closer to home. Not necessarily worse, but these payout periods, they're important things. They're in there. They're part of the plan, and they've always been part of the plan. They just weren't talked about until recently because there was no reason to talk about them. But now we're in an any day moment here, and stuff like that has come out in the past couple of months because people need to start thinking that way in their planning.
All right, sir. Is that it?
Well, I just was wondering, we didn't hear anything more about it's still the 6 on the trillions and 3 on the billions and none on the millions on the Zim?
The last we heard was 6 off the trillions, 3 off the billions, and nothing off the millions.
Okay. Thank you much.
Thank you. Oh, my God, it looks like a breakout, a jailbreak for Florida down here. Hold on. Winter Park, Florida. 321, come on down. Winter Park, Florida. 321, come on down. Last 3 of your phone number is 555. Winter, probably not from Winter Park, but that's what it says. Hello? I think I can hear you. Yep. Going once, going twice. Goodbye. Deer Beach, Florida, 954. Come on down. Well, here we go. Deerfield Beach, Florida, 954. Come on down.
Jerry, is that me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing today? I got a
Good.
quick
How are you
question
doing?
for you guys. Not too bad, not too bad. I've been in this a little over 5 years. Lately, I've heard a lot of stuff about the Zen, but I didn't have an opportunity to get into it due to my financial situation. But it's a 2-part question. Have you guys heard anything lately about the V&D?
Nope. No dates, no rates. Can't talk about it.
Okay, well, no news sometimes is good news.
Exactly. And your next question?
This one is more or less for Iko. I'm 40 years old. I've got a 8-year-old and I've got a 6-year-old. When I go into exchange, I'm definitely thinking about opening up a trust for both of them. I know he has kids and grandkids. I just wanted to hear, what's more or less his game plan, because I know he can't give me any advice. But I know he has a big family like I do. But I just have 2 girls more or less to take care of right now. If he has any suggestions that, just wanted to hear what's his game plan. I appreciate it.
Well,
thank you, sir.
Let me see. How can I answer that? Hold on one second. Santa Claus just showed up. Well, let's see how I can answer this without giving anything away. It depends. Here's the thing about trust, okay? They're not, in one way they're real simple, in one way they're not simple at all, because they've got to be tailored to your own personal needs. So as far as, there's some conventional wisdom out there. Never give them control of their money until they're 25 or 30 years old, because you just don't have the life experience to handle that kind of money. There's going to be cute things you can do with their education. There's going to be even cuter things you can do with helping them get started in a business or in an advanced career. You really this is where those professionals come into play. And I wish I could say the simple answer to your question, but the fact of the matter is, it really is as an individual as you are. And there's all kinds of constraints and all kinds of restrictions you can do to help them learn to manage the money. But as far as giving you an answer to your problem, I can't. I just can't. And these days, because of my popularity now, I can't divulge more about my trust because it's another way of tracking me down. I guess that's about as simple as I can put it. The less everybody knows about me now, the better. So, sorry, that wasn't a great answer, but
I even know the name of your trust, and I'm going to tell everybody. It's the
Rockstar
Rockstar Trust. The Rockstar Trust.
I appreciate that.
All right,
that's the one thing it will not be.
I'm going to Haverhill, Maryland, 978. Does that sound right, Iko? Haverhill?
Not Harvard.
No, it's Haverhill. Haverhill.
Oh, that's what they call the mushrooms. Yeah, ask them about mushrooms. That whole part of the country stinks because of the mushrooms.
Haverhill, 978. Come on down. Last three of your phone number is 29. There you go. Haverhill. You're on the air.
Hey guys, actually we're in Massachusetts. It's actually Haverhill. That's one of our crazy conversations.
Okay.
But I have a quick question for the two of you. A lot of folks have been talking about the amount of the Zim could bring, and people could find themselves with a lot of money if everything proves to be true. I was having a discussion today with an individual and saying that a lot of people, I think, are unaware. Everybody is talking about, I want my $1 billion now, or I want my $500 million now. But we have to be careful, and the banks are helping us. Too much money going into the country could cause a spike in inflation. Would that be an accurate statement? I know that we're starved for liquidity. I'm well aware of that. I'm a small business owner, and things are not as good as people want to believe they are. But isn't that somewhat accurate? We all have to be careful. We really need to go with the direction that the bank officials are going to help us with.
Go ahead, Rockstar, because I'm not an economist or an economist.
Yeah, that's a smart caller there. You hit the nail on the head, huh? Yeah, we can't flood. we can't flood the lake. That's for sure. Or it is going to spill over the dam and wreck the dam and wipe out every village in the valley. That's very, very true. And that's another aspect of these payouts that needs to be mentioned. That it is like a regulator on a motor. You know, you're only going to let the motor rev so fast. Another thing too, is, well, you know, it just balances out all over the place. It's like I know some folks who want to give to their church, and they're going to give their church 10%. Period. That's what they're going to do. And you know, you've got a congregation of maybe 200 people out there in the middle of Iowa, and suddenly somebody gives them $10 or $15 million. You know, and they're used to running that church on $235,000 a year. You know, it's like it's unbalancing. it's a good thing to want to do, but it may not be a good thing to do. Does that start to answer your question?
Well, it's not really a question. It's something that
That's true. It's a statement.
have thought about a lot, because everybody is most people that are in this investment, at least the way I look at this after 4 years around here, most people are in their mid-50s, a lot of 60s, a lot of 70s. This statement is not a condescending because I'm right there with them. They've never had more than $10,000 at one time in any account they've ever had. Maybe they've had 50,000. But I think we all should just stop and pause when this is done, because I don't think it's going to be that easy to go out and start gifting a whole bunch of people, because people in general are going to be resistant. It's also going to put you into a more of a, now you're flying above the radar of life, where you always were below the radar, which is a good place to be. And I think that we're going to be careful, simply because we're going to think this money came too easy to us. And I've read many times that we have paid the price. We have been chosen. And I just thinking that some of your background, Iko, Jerry, don't know a lot about your background, but I just think so many people are going to be in a rush to, give this, this church, this person. And I think we're going to be really, really careful about how we're going to expose ourselves, because there's some really bad people in the world. And when you live in a small circle of life, you don't realize how bad people can be. Everything's relative. When my children were going to head into Boston, I would just say, listen, take your wallet, put it in your front pocket, be aware, don't put things down, put your iPhone, always hold on to it. Because if you're not used to being around people who are waiting for you to show up from the suburbs, those are the ones that get hurt. And I think the folks that are involved in this are wonderfully good-hearted people, but they need to be really careful, and they need to, I believe, not be so resistant to the banks being bad and not going to help us. Not a big favor of banks myself, but I believe they're going to help us more than hurt us. And I just wanted to address that, because so many people, I want my $1 billion, I want my $2 billion, or whatever it ends up being. We got to be careful. We got to be really careful, and I believe that the regulators, the U.S. Treasury, and all the important people, I'm hoping that this has been thought out. I'm pretty sure it's been thought out, and I just wanted to throw that out to the two of you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Pretty much it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Joe, I would just add to that gentleman that you need to say that as often as you can to as many people as you can. That's one of my pet philosophies in this venture as well. Yeah, I mean, I just wholeheartedly second everything you just said. So thanks for saying it again.
Yeah, let's go to Danvers, Maryland, 978. Come on down.
Is this me?
Yes.
Hello?
Kitty? Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just want to say you guys are explaining everything great. Thank you so much. Just a couple of questions I want to ask. I got a EIN number for my trust, and I forgot if I marked down irrevocable or revocable. How do I find out before the exchange which way I went with this trust?
I don't know. You're going to have to call the IRS and ask them that question. And it might, and I've heard it might boil down to how you file it. I don't know. My disclaimer, I don't know. I'm not a CPA, financial advisor, or an attorney.
Okay. My next quick question is, I don't know how soon when we exchange we'll have money in our accounts to pay bills and purchase a home. Do you know anything like that? Can you shed some light on that?
Pretty much immediately you're going to have, within, I think, 48 to 72 hours, you're going to have access to a lot.
Okay. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Okay, so just my last question, and bless you all. With a wealth manager, do they, when they go to invest with your funds, they let you know what they're investing in? Are they supposed to let you know what they're doing?
Well, they don't have control over your funds, honey. You're the one that has the final say so. You need to ask them about that. They'll explain it to you.
All right. Well, you know what?
Be careful of that. There are, you want to specify at the bank that you want signatory power over all decisions. So they can't do anything unless they show it to you, explain it to you, and get your signature. Because there are brokerage accounts, there are power of attorney clauses in these agreements. You got to check all that out. But you just, even if you don't understand what they're saying, you say, you're not doing anything without my signature. I mean, that right there will stop half the monkey business.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then again, and then again, it's up to you. You got to educate yourself. You got to go to college after this, financial college. You have to. You can't.
Now,
you can't
some
just
of these
stop learning.
Some of these wealth managers never believed in these currencies or anything like that. Is it wise to go to someone that knew about it, or they don't really care as long as it's dollars and cents and accounting?
Well, that's the big question, isn't
it? Let me tell you something. I personally have 3 wealth managers that I'm going to go visit and say, I think I'd like to open an account up in your bank. Really? How much do you want to bring to deposit? Well, more than you can handle, so I guess I need to talk to your boss.
Oh, okay.
That's just a hubris in me, but that's something you brought up well.
If you move to another state, where you actually are putting your exchange and all that, and the wealth managers and all that kind of stuff, what entails with that? I mean, you just stay connected over the phone or computer? Or?
Oh, yeah. And if you've got enough money in the bank, they'll come visit you, and they won't charge you for it either because they're already making money. You say, look, I don't feel like traveling. This is where I'm going to be. Why don't you catch a commercial flight and come over and see me? Because trust me, they'll have secure connections over the internet. And if it's a big 4 bank, they're going to say, well, let's walk in over here and I'll help you out. Yeah, because they're not going to want to give up your business to some other wealth manager, a state away or 2 states away. They want to keep you, they want to look good. Does that help you out?
It does. And I just want to thank you guys. Don't ever think that you guys are bumbling around with your answers, or you explain it in layman's terms, and I love it. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Wait a minute. I have a question for you. What have you done today, or what haven't you done today that I'm going to ask? This is Washington State. I'm calling from my cell phone where I used to live in Massachusetts. So there's a lot of okay.
I call it there's a lot of rednecks
today?
up here.
Well, have you hugged a redneck till it hurts?
Not yet, but I'm going to find one.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much. Bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. you know, and I don't want to be narrow-minded. Hug a yuppie till it hurts. It's okay. It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round, and no, there's nothing wrong with yuppies. I think we can convert them. It's just a matter of time. What do you think, Rockstar? Uh-oh.
I'm here. I just keep muting out because I'm in the middle of making dinner.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, the problem with if you're talking about true yuppies, which are, I believe yuppies were born in the late 70s and grew up in the 80s, were teenagers in the 80s. That's when yuppies actually were formed. That was in my humble opinion, that was a screwed up time to be a kid. And you know, they had everybody. Well, no, that's. Never mind. I'm going to ramble. My simple answer is no. Until everybody has worked for a full year on a farm as a farm hand, whether it's a dairy farm, a grain raising operation, a cattle farm, I don't care what, you know, a pig farm, I don't care what it is. Until you have worked on a farm for 1 year, you are hopelessly inexperienced to handle this well. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Well, I just
and
said,
I mean
you know,
and I mean it.
You know, I think we can convert them.
Well,
just you
maybe.
know, give them a pair of mucklucks and they'll be okay.
Yeah, they got to get dirty. Yeah, they got to get dirty at something. I don't care what it is. Fishing, I don't care what it is. But until you've gotten dirty, you really don't understand what's happening in life.
Can you see some of those young girls? Oh my God! Oh please, no. Girlfriend? Yeah, girlfriend, go out there and grab that shovel.
The young girls, try the young boys.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, well, my son, bless his heart. Yeah.
Yeah, converting yuppies is tough. Converting what's the latest generation called? The me generation? What are they called?
Show me the money? I don't know.
You
got a JOB? No, you're not getting no. You're not talking to me unless you got a job. What? Can I see your gold card? No, and no is the answer to that. What do you drive? An F-150. What is that? You're not for me. Have a good day.
Well, out here, everybody drives an F-150 and they're clean as a whistle.
Well, there's the next problem. All right, we're going to go to our next caller, Silver Springs, Nevada, 775.
This is John, and I am an old cowboy, born in World War II, and my stepmom just sold my dad's ranch and had 19,000 head of cattle, so I know a little bit about livestock. But I had a clinic in Las Vegas. I want to relate to what you guys said. We dealt with cancer, AIDS, and diabetes. If people would do what we said, they'd get well. 1 out of 1,000 would do it. So I hope that the people who listen to your call take the information you put out because it was awesome. And as far as giving to charitable organizations, I'm totally against giving it all. Let it make interest and give them out of the interest, and that way they'll be blessed for year upon year upon year upon year. Anyway,
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a real good point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's important. People should really heed that one. You don't just drop a lump of money on it.
Oh, no. Hey, are you on the forum? Are you on my forum?
No, a friend of mine in Texas just gave me your phone number and I called today.
Huh.
So I don't even have a computer anymore. Somebody from the east hacked into it, and so I disconnected it all for now. And anyway, I'm doing good. We just had a terrible accident here. My wife broke her back in 11 places and some ribs and helping me in the backyard. But we put our house up for sale, and some guy come by, sat on the couch, got tears in his eyes, and offered us what we were paying for it for cash. So, so we've been blessed. God's been good to us. Anyway, you guys be good and keep up the good work, and we're looking forward to this taking place. And I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm a designer. I used to build mining equipment, but I designed an entire state fair with a rodeo and everything, all life-size, all active, but all electronic. It'd be a bigger hit than Disneyland.
So who is this fine gentleman out of the great state of Texas that helped you out? Is he a good friend of yours?
Yeah, he used to be a chiropractor, but he's a cowboy now, and yeah, his name is Dennis. And
You mean he used to be a quackcracker? I love quackcrackers. And you know what I like better than quackcrackers?
What's that?
I love me massage therapists because those between those two, I think life is good.
I'm telling you, my wife is going to the best therapist there is here in Reno. We were told about her in the hospital, and I hurt my hip when I was 18 years old. A cow run between me and the horse and the fence, twisted my leg around, and it's hurt ever since. She just put her hand on it and went back in place, didn't push on it, and that's 2 months ago and hadn't hurt me since.
You
anyway,
know,
there ain't nothing like her.
I got to say, a woman with healing hands is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, amen.
So, is John? Is he an avid listener of this call?
My friend Dennis is. Yeah, I'm John.
Yeah, okay. Is Dennis an avid listener?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dennis, if you're listening.
In Henrietta, Texas.
Really? Okay, so here we go. Dennis, this is for you. I'm looking at the last four of John's phone number. If you will send me an email at thewingitcall@gmail.com, and in the subject line put Dennis and put the last four of John's phone number, I'd like to talk to both of you, if you don't mind.
Well,
so
I can't
Dennis,
send you an email, but Dennis can.
Well, that's why I'm talking to Dennis.
Right.
You think he's listening right now?
He's pretty adamant about listening.
Well,
at least that's what he told me.
Well, I hope he's listening because I'm sure he knows your voice. So in the subject line, put your name, Dennis, and the last four of John's phone number, and I'll get in contact because I wrote your phone number down since Dennis didn't raise his hand, the scoundrel. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you brought to the call. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can call me anytime you want. So.
And I plan on it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anyway, God bless and have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So we're going to take one more call, and then Pastor has requested a little time here, and so I want to give it to him. And so the last caller of the day is Lori off the web. Hello. Lori, hello. Yep, we're going to go past that one. That was not the last caller. That was my fault. Houston, Texas, 713. Yeah. You're the last caller. Come on down.
All right. I was hoping to get in. Are you
Hug
there?
a redneck? Hug a redneck?
Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear
Hello?
me?
Oh, excellent. I actually, just a quick comment on the caller before, that's pretty much been my plan, is to identify something of an annual sum I want to contribute to various charitable organizations and create a trust that I expect to generate that such that it's a perpetual gift. I think Iko was trying to make a few comments about that, and he really didn't get a chance to finish that. Iko, if you're still around, I'd really like to ask you a question. I feel a little bit like a dog with a bone, but I'm trying to get clear on what the value and merit of the NIB accounts are. Is it because it's totally insured, or is it because it would be protected in the event of a bail-in, or both?
What kind of account did you say?
NIB, non-interest bearing.
Oh, so I'll give you my opinion, okay? I don't think the non-interest bearing accounts are as important as we once thought they were, because it appears that all of the banks, not just Wells Fargo, but all of the banks are ready to give you a holding trust until you sort out your money.
Well, I have a trust, so that part of...
Oh, well, if you have a trust, then everything goes inside your trust. You don't have to worry. You forget about a non-interest-bearing account. You want your money working for you ASAP. So you don't even need to think of a non-interest-bearing account.
And will they also offer reinsurance for the full amount of the account as a perk?
That I don't know. That I do not know. I know that the insurance limits have changed. I know that people like Abbott Downing and Lloyd's of London are well aware of this new group of millionaires and billionaires coming to the market, and they have adjusted things accordingly. This is one of those things. The joke is we don't know what the rules are yet because nobody knows what the game is.
Sure.
That's what this falls under. But again, this is my opinion. You want to hire, and again, it's going to take a while for everybody to catch up. Okay, but they will catch up because this is a huge market. And financial advisors and attorneys and accountants, all these people, they're going to want your business. They're going to catch up. They're going to get educated as fast as they can. But diversification is still going to be something that you will want to do. I don't know how that diversification looks now. I mean, I know how it used to look, but I don't know how it's going to look now, especially once the planet has gone to asset backed and has reached parity. That's one of those things where they just don't know yet because it hasn't happened. But you do, let's put it this way: depending on how much you have, you're not going to be able to look at this thing as in the way we think of. Well, I pay X amount a month and I get this amount of coverage from an insurance policy, or I get this amount of money insured. There's going to be new vehicles to protect your money, and you're going to have to, unfortunately, if you got a lot of it, you're going to have to pay a lot for that expertise, but it's going to be out there. So, you're right to be concerned about it, but I wouldn't worry about it. People are going to be able to put you in the right direction. You got to remember now you're a wealthy person, and it's different. It's like when you're wealthy, everything comes to you. You're not out looking for it. In fact, the problem is there's too many people coming at you with too many ideas and too much information. It's the opposite problem. You will never be in the dark again. Question is, what light path do you choose, or which light do you turn on? You follow what I'm saying?
I do, and I think my real concern is the period of time between whenever this RV occurs and the U.S. becomes asset-backed. And right. Once we become asset-backed, I'm not too worried. But in the interim, there's the possibility for bail-ins, and I'm thinking that if the yuan, based on what Mr. B had to say last week, if people are not trading in their bond debt for yuan or whatever, we're going to have to buy it back, and that's where we're at risk for bail-ins, right? Do I understand that correctly?
No, I think that's so 2014, to be facetious about it. My understanding is, and again, this is only my understanding, but it's accumulated from a lot of different sources. The Chinese, for the time being, have solved the derivative issue. Therefore, there are no bail-ins to worry about. If you stick with the safe big banks, well, first of all, you're not going to have bail-ins on smaller banks. It's the big banks you got to worry about if bail-ins were something to be worried about. And my understanding is, for the near future, and I'm talking years, you don't have to worry about bail-ins. There's going to be so much cash around that there's not going to be the need for bail-ins, and the derivatives, which were a fiat-based mechanism, are going to disappear. That's the wrong word. They're going to be they're going to be absorbed, and we won't have to worry about the bail-ins. And again, that's you got to take that as my interpretation of everything I've been told. But I think something that all of us can look at with a certain amount of confidence is the banks are okay for a few years, and within a few years we're going to know what to do with our money and how to protect it.
You've hugely relieved one of the concerns I was trying to figure out, and it has huge bearing on my exchange plan in terms of which direction I would go. So thank you very much. I appreciate your input.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Of course, I know what her next question was. Aiko, are you single? No, unfortunately, he's been captured for a while. So here we go. This is it. Pastor, you're up.
Father, we just thank you for your blessing on this time and on information and wisdom, Lord, to apply it. We pray for wisdom to apply everything that we've learned, every one of the people that has listened, Lord. We pray the blessing of the Lord upon Aiko and upon Jerry, supernatural blessings upon the people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you for all of that. So I'm going to go through the process.